As I mentioned, Republicans need 6 net seats today to take over control of the United States Senate. There are a few particular races that you should be paying attention to. Here are the ones I would draw your attention to. In Alaska, we have Republican Dan Sullivan up by 1 point over incumbent Democratic Senator Mark Begich. It really would be bad if we lost Begich. Having a senator like Begich in Alaska, although not a particularly progressive Democrat, still a good thing. And remember, I look at this not as a Democrat, because I'm not a Democrat, but rather as a progressive independent. And I'm just focused on who is the more progressive candidate here. In Colorado, surveys show Republican Cory Gardner leading Democratic Senator Mark Udall. Again, not a good situation there. However, it is still within reach, I guess, depending on what happens today. We're going to keep an eye on that one. In Georgia, Republican nominee David Perdue's remark that he was proud of his background outsourcing jobs did help the Democrat Michelle Nunn build a little lead in the polls, but that edge has basically disappeared. That one is too close to call right now. In Iowa, we see the race effectively tied. Democrat Bruce Braley is trying to mount a comeback against Joni Ernst. We'll talk about Joni Ernst a little more later. That is one out of control, crazy candidate. In Kansas, we have Kansas we're paying attention to. I'll just go through some of these quickly. Louisiana we're looking at. New Hampshire, we have Scott Brown. Scott Brown, I really hope that he does not win there. The polls now have Brown leading by 0.9 points in the Real Clear Politics polling average. Lewis, I really don't want Scott Brown to again go to the Senate, this time in a different state.
No, that would be terrible. I'm really hoping that Mitch McConnell goes down. But David, I'm only a little bit optimistic here.
In North Carolina, we have Kay Hagan hoping to be able to stick it out there. In Arkansas, we have Senator Mark Pryor managing to keep his race against Tom Cotton pretty close. And of course, Kentucky, where Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell is probably going to win. There was hope that Allison Lundergan Grimes might be able to pull this out. It does not seem like it's going to happen. And Lewis, it really would have been just wonderful, even if Republicans were to take over control of the Senate, to see Mitch McConnell booted.
Yes, but after all, it is Kentucky. So what did we really expect to happen?
No, I know. The funny thing is, a lot of times when you get into the minutia, you're in the middle of the battle, you say, yeah, the Democrat really has a shot here. But then when you step back and you say, it is Kentucky, what is ultimately most likely to happen here? You kind of come back to earth. And optimism sometimes will cloud you, and you'll start thinking that these are going to be some potentially easy races. I guess it's still remotely possible that Grimes could take this over. Over the weekend, I met someone who just moved to Massachusetts from Kentucky. I was in Massachusetts over the weekend, said he had been working with the Grimes campaign and that they're just so unorganized. And I said, yeah, but everybody I know that works on a campaign says it's incredibly unorganized. I think these campaigns are by their very nature unorganized.
I think so, but it's still it's important for the campaign to be optimistic, for the candidate to be optimistic, because if they aren't, I mean, how is that going to look in front of the voters?